Okay, well, I won't be able to see that. But I don't really see the comments. Okay, okay, now can you guys hear me? Because I didn't even have the microphone in front of my face. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, here's a chat going on here. Here's a chat. And here's a chat. Okay, now where do I put my OBS? I guess I'll put it back here and minimize it. Hopefully I don't look like a hot mess. And we are going to try our best to start off on a solid foot for today. Okay. So Salfredo says, "What's your birthstone?" And then the next part is, "Mine's rock bottom." Hilarious, super funny. Okay, I guess I should get my script out too. Almost a perfect start, guys. Almost, but no cigar. Still a little bit behind. Okay. So, hello and welcome everyone. I am Sinfully Cerebral coming to you live from Tangled Facebook and YouTube. Today's topic is going to be on, we're going to do a Neogenian highlight today. We are going to be giving some shout outs to channels. We have some new Neogenian channels to tell you guys about. Go over some updates and go over some terms, some Neogenian terms. And we're mostly just going to be hanging out until it gets closer to when Morg is going to start their stream. And so, just a reminder, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. It helps a lot. If you would like to support me, please go down to my link tree. The first link is for Tangled. If you would like to sign up and become an affiliate, I would greatly appreciate that. And then if you would just like to follow me across any other platforms, they're all listed there below. And so I also want to give a shout out to Airsoul because we are going to be doing, a night chat on Wednesday. So it says Wednesday 9 p.m. UTC. I will be a guest on Night Chat here on Tangled. For my East Coast followers, that is 5 p.m. And for everyone else, please look up that time in your time zone. Hello to Dakota over on Facebook. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for coming to hang out. He says that he's not allowed here, which is not the conversation we had, but you're 314. I don't know what that means, but okay, thank you. And then Hamzakazi, thank you for coming to hang out over on YouTube. I appreciate the hearts. And for coming to hang out over on Tangled. I appreciate it so much. Let me see. So there are a few things that I kind of want to get through today. I don't know. My sweetie pie 314. March 14th. I don't know if I should do the shoutouts first or the terms or what else are we supposed to do? Updates. Let's just go over to YouTube and show everybody off. Of course, this is Jan Damon. This is an awesome Neogenian creator. They have recently come back to live streaming after going on hiatus for school. And so I just want to remind everybody, do not forget to come over and hang out with Jan when they do go live. Oh, it's the digits for pi. My sweetie pie. Okay. Um, so if you guys do get a chance, make sure you are subscribed and you have the notification bell set for Jan. And then we Are Eternal has come out with some great recent videos. A video on symbolism, the bridge to your unconscious, was very powerful. And I do believe Morg said that they greatly appreciated and liked this video. And then Inside the Prison of Religion, which I actually got to watch as a premiere, was pretty awesome. I felt like We Are Eternal was going through an alchemical process as they were making that video. And so being in the premiere chat was kind of a different experience. I'm not gonna lie. It felt very raw, intimate, and personal, I'd say. And so, if you guys get a chance, definitely go look this one up. I actually might directly share this one to Tangled, because we haven't put up a new post in the Neogenian in a while, so maybe I'll put this one here. Inside the Prison of Religion. Exploring trauma syndrome. And so if you guys get a chance and you guys want to watch something kind of controversial, I definitely highly recommend this. I actually wasn't expecting to even see that video, walk into that video, watch that video. I just happened to be scrolling on YouTube already and it just happened to come up, and it was very surprising. I'm not gonna lie. I was very surprised. I'm glad it was a happy surprise. But I was definitely very shocked. And so, I'm not going to make people have to be a subscriber to watch it or have to do any type of, post unlocked, fees. There's not going to be any fees to watch it. I will let my subscribers know, and I will do a promotion for this post for 500,000. And so hopefully a decent amount of people get a chance to look at this, because like I said, I thought this was a great video. It was just, like I said, very raw. It was very interesting to see people watch someone retrace their steps in life and reconnect with the parts of themselves that they have suppressed for so long, and retouch some of the painful wounds that they've overcome. The introduction of the video talks about welcome to my shadow. And so I thought that this was a great video on shadow work. So kudos to We Are Eternal. That video was awesome. And then Sense of Soul is constantly doing updates and putting out new podcasts. So if you're ever in Morg's chat, you will see Sense of Soul periodically. And they actually talk to a wide variety of people that have very interesting backgrounds and life experiences just in general. They are, a nice network of connections that she has. It's very impressive. So I would say if you get a chance, come over and support Sense of Soul. They new from 2025. Yeah, so come out, look for them. Sense of Soul podcast is what you can look them up out for on YouTube. And then this is another new YouTube channel for the Neogenian Collective. For Lilith, you can look them up as Sapphire 1331. So it's Sapphire dot or period 1331, which are great numbers, by the way. And the video that I just recently seen of theirs for the first time was a podcast with her and her daughter talking about 2022 and 2023 ish. Talking about their businesses and growth and what they're expecting out of life and stuff like that. So it was a very nice experience. Anyone who is interested in an up and coming new Neogenian content creator, please go check out Lilith at Sapphire, SAPPHIRE period 1331. Hold on. Sorry, I was joking. Anyway, but yeah, so and they actually have a ton of videos out, and even just since I've subscribed to them, to Lilith, I've gotten several notifications of new videos and shorts being put up. So they seem to be pretty active. So looking forward to their growth in the future. And then this is Tangled, of course. So we're gonna go over a few videos today. This is the Neogenian Oculus. So I was thinking about going over the video, what is the Neogenian, that's on this channel. There's also a pinned post that I have on Tangled that is what is the Neogenian. And there is another Neogenian page. I don't remember what it's called though. See if I can find it. I don't know if it's it's Neogenian, but the channel name is the Neogenian. And we haven't had any updates in a while, in a few months, unfortunately. But they have a ton of Neogenian videos that I want to get back into putting at the front of these Neogenian live streams that I'm going to be doing. What's different about today's stream is that I'm actually streaming from the Neogenian page instead of my personal page. Usually I do these from my personal page, and today I decided to do something a little different. So Joanna Laguna, thank you for coming to hang out. I appreciate it. No problem. Thank you so much. I was just giving a shout out to a bunch of different Neogenian pages, so if you get a chance and you want to rewatch the beginning, because like I said, we have this new page. Lilith has shared their YouTube channel with us at sapphire.1331. If you want to look up some of their videos, their latest video was an interview between her and her daughter, which was pretty neat. And so looking forward to hearing more from her in the future. And then, like I said, we have this Neogenian Life, which I often share their work and their videos. They do have a new video which we might watch at the end. They have this cute little nice little new haircut. She looks super duper cute. And so there's that. Let's see. Well, of course, we have Renaissance Fairy and Exploring the Holos. That we have videos that we're gonna watch of theirs today. One is Got Milk, and the other one is the Ceremonic wireless microphone system. So I guess it's a review on a microphone, which we probably won't watch. And then Renaissance Fairy has a universal archetype video that we'll be looking at. Oh, Lilith. Oh, no problem. I specifically wanted to make sure that we are all connected and communicating with each other, and so that other people can get a sense of where to go. Sometimes people are bored and they don't know how to spend their time. One of the best things that you can do is spend your time supporting other Neogenians, um, giving them some critiques or just listening to their story and getting their side of things in life. Um, and sometimes it helps to just have it running in the background. Like Joanna Laguna says that we are her current background noise. So hopefully it's bringing her peace. That's Rosset. I don't know what that means. And Tal Talinamads, the servants. Talimanads. Facts. For sure. So, I know that I'm kind of doing a earlier stream, and I know people are preparing for. That's a request. Is that what that's supposed to say? That's a request. Is the A supposed to be a Q? I know everybody's preparing for morgue stream, and so I just kind of wanted to do. I needed to do another live stream, so I need to get my last live stream done for today, and then put in my time. So I wasn't even gonna go live on YouTube, but I ended up getting a notification from someone, and so I figured that I might as well just go live anyway, because I was only gonna do Facebook and Ezekiel the Visionary. Oh, I didn't. Okay, I missed some of these comments. Okay, I don't know what that means, so I have to Google it. Let's see if this is on topic. Talmonids. Yeah, I figured it was Talmonids. Okay, yeah, this is the song that you sent me before, right? And I actually did play this, and the opening to it was very powerful. And I said to myself that, wow, I'm actually going to make sure that the next time that I listen to this, that I am fully focused, because it seemed really good. But I remember that you saying that it has religious connotations, and so I didn't want to ruin my experience when I couldn't fully focus on it. But yes, from just the opening to it, it sounded very good. Okay, I will say that much. And because I'm streaming on YouTube and on Facebook, I can't play music from YouTube, or else I will get banned. They'll shut my stream down. I know it's horrible, it's unfortunate, but that is literally just how stupid it is. Spectral Cord, what's up, bro? Thanks for coming to hang out. Is somebody else live? There's literally nobody else live. It's also 7:27. Where are all the Filipinos? Where are all the Filipino people? Where are you guys at? Something is not right. And locked in. It makes me cry. It sounded really good. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe Spectral will have a better sense of the song. Thank you, Spectral. Definitely come over to hang out, because the chat's kind of empty right now. So I'll definitely be able to give you some nice tips. So, have you heard of this song before, Spectral? Do you know the song Talmidim? Talmidim? Talmidim. And I've heard other people say this word a lot better than I can say it, because I can't say it that well. But I would play it. Oh, okay, so Spectral says that they don't know this song. Usually Spectral knows all types of like weird, strange things. So they get like IQ points that are like pretty high on this game that they play that I see them put out. So I do like to rattle their brain sometimes. Oh man. Anyway, is anybody ready for the mortal world to rise into the ascended world to, not be lost in the mire of confusion and disaster and insanity? Is anybody else ready for that? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So, a lot of people don't realize, dang, did I close out of I did. Okay. So, I have to go back. Sorry. And we're gonna watch a Neogenian Oculus video from a few months ago that was put up by Philip, and it's gonna be what is the Neogenian, and so it's short, and I just want to see what their perspective is, and how he explains it. So I'm sure I've already watched it, but it's good to have
Neogenian is a
it's good to have a refresher. So I gotta change my audio output.
transformative system that will redefine your understanding of existence, your place in it, and how everything is connected. The Neogenian is a knowledge system that explains reality using reason and provides the tools for you to elevate your consciousness.
Okay, so that came out really strong. And usually Philip is very chill and laid back, so very surprising. I'm liking everything that he's saying so far. Sounds great. Sounds key and on point. It sounds like everything I agree with. But like, wow. Okay, Philip, I see you. I was not expecting that.
Setting you on the path to becoming hyper aware. As your knowledge of reality increases, you'll recognize what we need to do to create a new society and a new Earth, shifting away from the current paradigm based on ignorance, fear, division, and greed to a new paradigm of unity, growth, and abundance for everyone. This paradigm shift is absolutely achievable, and it requires no faith, no just accepting what you're told without question. In fact, the first of the 5 major components in the Neogenian system is neogenesis, which encourages questioning. Neogenesis, which means new beginning, is a fundamental transformation of the mind, leading you to hyper-awareness, a state of heightened consciousness where you perceive the interconnectedness of all things. Neogenesis involves restructuring your mind by challenging and dismantling your old beliefs and societal conditioning. It's about breaking free from outdated paradigms and embracing new ways of thinking.
Okay, this is going by so fast. This is going by so fast. Wow. And so, like, okay, the Neogenian system is a lot. So I can understand trying to create a video that gives a brief overview, but this is like being struck down by lightning. Oh my goodness. I thought I was about to be like electrocuted. It's great. Everything that Philip is saying is absolutely on point and correct. We definitely want to move away from mindsets of division and move into expansive mindsets of unity, right? Oh, this Neogenian life, you made it! Awesome! Congratulations! Thank you so much for coming to hang out. And so wow. Okay, I think I'm just gonna go back a little bit just because like I don't want us to miss anything and I want us to make sure that we can talk about some of this stuff.
Neogenesis, which means new beginning, is a fundamental transformation of the mind, leading you to hyper-awareness, a state of heightened consciousness where you perceive the interconnectedness of all things.
And so I think that this is a major point that a lot of people fail to integrate into their thinking. They are still somehow lost or confused when it comes to realizing that the structure of our society, how we treat each other, how our sense of self, our self respect, the direction we are aiming for, our purpose, right? Our telos. I think that a lot of people don't realize that these things aren't separate from each other. These are all interrelated. And structuring our mind to create powerful connections on through concept networking so that we can realize the importance of our self-respect, how we treat ourselves, seeing the need for compassion and empathy, how we treat others, and making sure that we're not building some divisive society where we are unnecessarily slaughtering people or creating tribulations for people to go through because we believe that because our life was hard, other people's lives were hard. And just having an overall shift in how we think about the future of humanity, ourselves as humans or more than human, and what it means for us to go into the future and build something for the future.
Neogenesis involves restructuring your mind by challenging and dismantling your old beliefs and societal conditioning. It's about breaking free from outdated paradigms and embracing new ways of thinking. This entire process is explained in Neogenesis: Dawn of the New Mind, Book 1 of the Neogenian system, but you can learn more about it here at the Neogenian Oculus, where we discuss all aspects of the system and living as a Neogenian, so please subscribe and join our community. Let's turn to the second major area of the Neogenian, which is meta-rationalism, the new science of mind that reveals reality is not material but mental. As the name implies, meta-rationalism is the rational pursuit of knowledge that takes the position that metaphysics can be known rationally. What is time? What is the relationship between matter and mind? What is the nature of ultimate reality?
I think that a lot of the times we are hyper focused on the mathematical aspect of reality, where we talk about how to relate physics and metaphysics, how to understand quantum physics and stuff like that. And I know for a lot of people that seems like, well, how is that spiritual? Like, how does that have to do with anything like the spiritual aspect of reality? But that's the point of metaphysics. So a lot of people, they are caught up in saying words like the quantum realms and sensing energy and crystals and vibrations and tarot and astrology and stuff like that. And so the meta-rational system allows you to put all of these different systems into the proper place within inside your toolbox so that you can still interact and engage with these different intuitive tools to connect with your unconscious mind without becoming delusional, insane, mad, hysterical, because of all the downloads you might be receiving or the inspirations you might be receiving or the creativity that's flowing, some of the intrusive thoughts you might be having. So I think that just saying meta-rationalism, I think it's a cool word, but I think that a lot of people, they don't have a sense of why it's important to associate the math that you learn in school with actual meaningful connections instead of just thinking that it's scratch marks on a piece of paper and has nothing to do with the fundamental structure of reality.
Meta-rationalism answers metaphysical questions like these using logic and reason, but it transcends traditional rationality by integrating multiple ways of knowing into a coherent understanding of reality. Rational thought, while essential, is not sufficient to grasp the full complexity of existence. Meta-rationalism combines rationality with intuition, emotion, and sensory experience to create a more comprehensive and integrated approach to knowledge while always prioritizing reason. With the understanding gained through meta-rationalism, we can turn to cosmogenesis, the third pillar of the Neogenian system that explores the origin and evolution of the cosmos. You'll discover how we are all integral parts of a vast shared dream constantly evolving and co-creating reality, and that we are individual nodes of a collective mind evolving from an unconscious to a conscious state. Teleocracy, the fourth pillar, focuses on the creation of a purpose-driven society and world. Unlike traditional systems that often focus on power, control, or economic growth, teleocracy emphasizes the collective goal of achieving hyper-awareness and creating a harmonious world where we all thrive. Teleocracy is about creating a society where every individual is empowered to reach their highest potential, and where decisions are made with the well-being of all in mind. It envisions a world where you are not just a passive participant, but an active co-creator of this reality. The final pillar is psychogenesis, which focuses on the development and evolution of the psyche. It examines how our minds and our consciousness evolve both individually and collectively. Psychogenesis provides the tools for you to explore the depths of your psyche and to understand the forces that shape your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. You will use the knowledge you've gained to work towards self-actualization, leading to hyper-awareness, and then as individuals and the collective, we will use our will to shape our world. The Neogenian system isn't just a theoretical framework, it's a powerful system of knowledge that explains reality from a rational position and gives you the tools to transform yourself and the world. You are not a passive bystander observing life unfolding around you. You are an infinite being existing in a mental reality of mathematical frequency manifesting the universe. Our purpose is to create a monumental shift towards a new paradigm of elevated consciousness and a new humanity. Together, we are the new beginning. For more information on the Neogenian, see the links in the description below.
Okay, so a few comments. Psychogenesis is the right way to say it. I remember one of my articles that I wrote sometime last year that I had Susan reviewing. I had wrote it as psychogenesis just because I am used to it like that. And apparently, through a vote at the top, they decided that they wanted to spell it psychogenesis with an E. So I know a lot of people are still caught up saying psychogenesis for the fifth book, but it's psychogenesis. Yeah, like psychogenesis. No, it's psychogenesis with an E. Psychogenesis. When you look at it, it's actually spelled psychogenesis. Welcome, Shohana. Shohana says that she just got done her morning prayers. And Dakota is asking for me to send them it. Let's see if there is a link in the description. I hate when people say that the links are going to be in the description and then I don't see them. Okay, I didn't know that the Neogenian Oculus had their own website. But Morg also has their own website. So I'm just gonna go from place to place to place. Let me see. Where's the website? Morg's website is. How did I find this one? In the description of the video. Hold on. Okay, where am I?
The apocalypse is
Yeah, this was actually
happening now.
Wait, it's only 22 minutes? This was a great video from 2023. I can't even believe how long ago the video is from. Okay, this is an apparel site. I don't know if this page even still works. Okay, this is not the right page. I have to go to the new updated pages. Oh man. Link in the description, I know. It's not. It's not. The Baphomet video was symbol. Great. Okay, the link is definitely in this one. Read my books right here. And then here is the link. and you can find the Neogenian 5-book series. It is psychogenesis. It's psychogenesis. Genesis. Yes, psychogenesis. But it's not psychogenesis, or it's psyche, psyche. But yeah, I mean, you just have to pay attention that you're not saying psychogenesis, which is what I was writing in the article, is what I'm saying. And I guess I can put it down here in YouTube too. For anybody that's interested in the Neogenian 5-book series, you can look for it there. And feel free to follow Morg on YouTube and pretty much anywhere. Pensisland.org. Free pens. Didn't come up. It came up, this site can't be reached, so hopefully I don't get a virus from that. And even though you came in late, this Neogenian Life, we spent the first 20 minutes of the stream showing off all the different Neogenian pages so that people who are interested could go over there and hang out with them. Let me see if this was a different page. And I was showing off Lilith, because Lilith is also making videos. Their YouTube channel is Sapphire period 1331, and they have this interview with their daughter that they just put up. Yeah, there are a few psychos for sure. Yeah, we got enough. Yeah, we're gonna have to be careful with that. Oh man. And so I want to know what this video from Andy is about. Anyway, I just want to make a few more comments on this video from Philip. I know it was put out in October of last year, and I guess this is my first time seeing it, so I feel so bad. Good night, Johanna. Yes, get some more sleep. We'll see you next time. I feel kind of bad. So, I guess it was my first time watching it, and it kind of seemed almost like a commercial. It seemed like a great video that you could put in between like a longer video. Yes, Lilith is making videos. So when I guess I could have put their channel in the copy. Okay, just save this so that you can go look at their YouTube channel in the future. Elise, thank you for stopping by. I know we have a stream with Morg coming up, so I just wanted to get my stream out of the way, and I will be there to hang out with you guys all later for sure. I appreciate you. The stream is not over. The stream, we just got done watching this video from the Neogenian Oculus that was put up and created by Philip, scripted and recorded by Philip from October. And I was just giving some commentary on it, hanging out there. I am sharing some new Neogenian YouTube channels that are coming out. So Lilith is creating YouTube channels. He streamed all over me. Funny. And sharing links to Morg's books, which is above you if you would like to share that link anywhere, just offhand. And so I wanted to look at Andy's video from a week ago that I haven't seen, which is Got Milk, which I can kind of guess what this one might be about. Elise. Don't laugh at him, Elise. Oh my gosh. You're encouraging him. Anyway, so we're gonna watch this one. Okay, yes. Thank you for screenshotting that. And then whenever you get a chance, you could just type in Sapphire period 1331 and should be easy.
Hello and welcome to Exploring the Holos. Today I'll be talking about the disgustingly cruel dairy industry. So,
I'm just going to give this a like from the beginning. First of all, I have traveled the country, so I have seen what the dairy farms look like in, out west. And just the amount of land that's destroyed because of factory farming, let alone dairy farming. Not even talking about the immense, horrific harm caused to these sentient beings, these other living, feeling entities. No, Elise is over on Facebook. So Elise, we are streaming to YouTube, Facebook, and Tangled right now. And this Neogenian life, Lara is asking about you. So hello everyone, and hello and hello and hello.
make sure you like and subscribe and share with all your friends, and let's get into the video. I hope that the lighting doesn't continue to go in and out like it has been. If it does, I apologize. I don't know if it doesn't seem like it's cloudy at all, but
It looks perfect.
as I'm looking at myself, it gets dark and light. I don't know if that's something going on with my phone, and I've been trying to move this over.
Okay,
No matter what, my big ear wants to stick out.
it is getting a little light and darker, but it's perfect. It still looks great.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it, but if I put it over here, then my big ear really sticks out. So, like, no matter, I mean, I'd have to go that far to not, I mean, you can still see my big ear, which is weird. I've always had one bigger ear, and ever since I was a little kid, I always slept on my left side, hoping that that ear would grow slower. Never worked. So,
Oh my god!
excuse me, I'm still getting over this cold. All right. A lot less notes on this, because this is something I feel passionate about, and I've wanted to do a video on this for a while. And most people who are not vegan don't understand why vegans can't drink milk, because they're like, milk's, or they think that cows have to give milk, otherwise their udders will explode, or they'll be in great pain. They don't understand that in order for a cow to give milk in the first place, it has to be impregnated. Cows on their own that are not pregnant or not just having given birth do not give milk. They're not that different than people.
And this was actually a major shift in my mindset because I had never realized this point. What Exploring the Holos just said in in short terms, the cows that are providing milk to humans are not just cows. Cows don't just go around naturally constantly producing milk. Cows that have just given birth and are mothers are the ones who are being milked to death and providing milk to society instead of their own cows.
Which is a continuing theme through veganism, is when you understand that animals are just other selves, you're not going to want them to suffer. It comes from having a higher consciousness. So, dairy cows, in order for them to produce milk, are forcibly impregnated in we'll just call it a grape rack, since I don't think YouTube would like the actual word, so we'll call it a grape rack. And they are separated from their calves almost as soon as their calves are born in most cases. And then after the cow is past its peak production, especially in larger farms, these factory farms, they're killed almost immediately or sold off to beef slaughter. And a lot of times they won't even be a year or a couple of years old when this happens.
It does make me wonder, like, for me, it just feels so strange that humanity is walking this very fine delusional line. The way that humanity acts in large is very evil and demonic. It's very strange to me that there is even a question on whether animals have souls or not. I remember being a child growing up, and that was controversial within the religious sects. They would literally argue on whether animals go to heaven or do they perpetually go to hell, or if they even have souls to go to these places. And it's just so strange to me. These are other living beings that are as intelligent as your children and sometimes even more intelligent than other adults. And you're asking on whether they have a soul or not. These are literal sentient, feeling, thinking beings. Now, they might not think in the same capacity as us, where we are thinking long term and we have future goal oriented perspectives. A lot of their thoughts might be mostly chaotic, most likely. They might be mostly instinct driven. But you can clearly see when the cows get upset that you're taking their babies away from them, that there's something going on there, right? Okay, so I have somebody in the chat asking, I understand wanting to respect each other, animals included, but you kill so many bugs every day by walking. Do you think about that? And so, I'm not saying that you're wrong at all. What we want to keep in mind is the sentient creature's capacity for suffering, right? What we want to keep in mind is being self-aware of our own behavior. And so does that mean maybe we shouldn't use pesticides? Probably, especially since we know how harmful they are to humans. I don't think that it should be the main reason. I don't think it should be like, oh, you know what, these are, harmful to humans, we should stop using them. I think that that's a good reason. Yeah, these are harmful to humans, that's a good reason. But we know that they're also poisonous to the environment. They constantly harm and kill other creatures and stuff like that, right? We also want to make sure that life has its own cycles. We, as self-aware, reaching for hyper-awareness, should make sure that we are not adding to the suffering of the world. The world has plenty of natural suffering that's happening, right? And I always see these conversations people try to have, like, okay, well, the houses that you live in kill animals and pests, and the space that you take up kills animals and pests and destroys the environment and stuff like that. Okay, well, those are engineering problems. That's not a matter of you as an individual are out here on purpose trying to create a society that is perpetuating this. While many people are, there are people out there that will see that you're talking about veganism in a positive way, and they will go out and order 2 burgers instead of 1 just to spite vegans, which is absolutely disgusting, right? But a lot of the issues that we have when it comes to the harm that we're causing sentient beings around us is an engineering problem. Because we live in a capitalist society, it isn't their priority to save lives. Their priority is to make money. Now, if lives are saved by happenstance, they will literally celebrate that and talk about it, but it'll never be their actual goal. It will be the goal of the very minority to care about those kinds of things. And until we get to the point where humanity decides that it is more important to spend our wealth and our resources cleaning up behind ourselves. And then, hold on. It's the food chain legitimately. Okay. So that is the food chain that others decide to participate in, but it doesn't have to be the food chain that you participate in. There are plenty of people who live vegetarian and vegan lifestyles from the time that they're born until the time that they die, and they can live very healthy, long, strong, fulfilling lives. Now, the way that our society is structured, it might not seem like it, and they might even make it seem like it's impossible. But it's only impossible because they tell you that the king's land is for the king, and you can't go out there and pick berries or eat the mushrooms or cultivate a food forest that literally feeds you and thousands of other people. So I want people to realize that the fight humanity is in for becoming woke, hyper aware, is much, much more than just singing kumbaya, holding hands, and loving other humans. Eventually, we're going to get past that point. It blows my mind because what happens when animals are so self aware, so obviously intelligent, so powerfully structured when it comes to their communities, that we can no longer ignore that these are other entities with minds and thoughts, and they have their own direction that they want to go in. Are we just going to blow them up? Are we just going to euthanize them? Are we just going to shoot them down? Are we going to prevent them from having children in the future? Most likely, with how things are today, that is most likely what's going to happen. They'll probably put them in laboratories and cages and take them out of their environment for them to grow in. And it's so weird because people will be fans of like Star Trek and like everything else. And then when you're watching this show and they're like, oh yeah, we can't get involved with the natural development of a species, or we have to be extremely mindful of what we do to the environment and stuff like that. People are like, hell yeah, that makes so much sense. But then when it comes to Earth and humans and what we're supposed to be doing, they're like, oh no, oh no, absolutely, oh no, absolutely not. I can't deal with that. So when those animals overpopulate due to us not consuming them, what happens? Where do we locate them? That's a very interesting and strange question. Very interesting and very strange. So there are natural predators in the wild, if that's what you're asking about, other than humans. I don't think that all humans are going to evolve to the point in the future that they are siphoning energy from the sun to sustain themselves or generating enough mental energy to move their body. Let me see. I'm sorry. This Neogenian life has some comments. Let me see. It says it's still somewhat controversial in some Christian churches. Some believe animals have no souls and just cease to exist. Crazy. I used to think about that, about bugs and even something as small as bacteria. And that is why I watch Michael Levin, because Michael Levin has some very interesting perspectives on intelligence in life. But I finally realized that animals accidentally do the same every day. Besides, the only way we can keep from doing that is to cease to exist ourselves. I'm not exactly sure what that means. And it says, more extremes begin in about an hour and a half. Okay, so that's perfect. I probably won't be streaming that long. Thank you. We over need them. We created the problem. So now we have to actually solve the issue that we made. We overbred them. I don't think that it is anywhere near as bad as people imagine. Let me just look something up. Okay, it says how many two yeah, let's look at this. Okay, so I just looked up there was the bison genocide that happened so that they could harm the Native American tribes, right? And so it says an estimated 30 to 60 million buffalo were killed between the 1800s and 1900s in a 100-year span, right? This slaughter, primarily driven by market hunting and westward expansion, significantly harmed Native American tribes as buffaloes were crucial resources for their survival and cultural practices, right? And so 30 to 60 million of these animals lived out in those fields, right? In the prairies and in the grasslands and stuff like that. 30 to 60 million of them. I just watched a video yesterday on the Chesapeake Bay, and it was talking about oysters. It said that when the colonizers came to the U.S., the oyster population in the Chesapeake Bay could cycle out and cleanse the water within 3 days because the population was that high. 50 years later, it increased to over 365 days or something like that. I don't even know if it was as much as 50 years. It might have even been less than that. Let me go look, because it was literally a video that I was just watching yesterday. I look up at a lot of videos, so please excuse my history. Don't look at everything that I'm looking at. Mind your business. Beavers, liquid gold. Here it is.
Coming to the shore.
Okay, let me see.
For a long time. Or this. Some kind of liquid is being dumped into rivers that flow into the bay or into the bay itself. It is the watershed map of the bay. Here you'll find Washington, Baltimore, Richmond, Newport, Arlington, and many other cities with high population density. What does this mean? This has been the norm in the Chesapeake Bay area for a long time. Arrived, they could filter the entire bay.
Oh, here it is.
Because commercial harvesting started. Imagine, oysters were such powerful filters that before the colonists arrived, they could filter the entire bay in about 3 days. By 1988, this time had increased to 325 days.
1988, which is how many years from now? 50 years ago? 325.
Once in the state of Maryland, which covers much of the bay, there were about 313 square miles of oyster reefs. But after a count in 2008, everyone was shocked because the area had shrunk to just 58 square miles. Along with
This is how much destruction and devastation humans have caused by literally consuming and slaughtering animals. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. And so it might not seem like any of this stuff is related, but what I'm saying is that there's plenty of planet. There is plenty of planet for large populations of animals to live and thrive and exist in. So even if all of the cows that we have locked up in pens and all the pigs that we have locked up in pens and all the chickens that we have locked up in pens went out into the world, would it be chaos and mayhem? Sure, because there's no natural habitat for them anymore because it's been, like you said, industrialized and taken over. But there's plenty of world for large populations of animals. Plenty of world. Humanity just has to stop acting like they need millions and millions of miles to consume and take over. Like I said, it's an engineering problem It's not a how much space there is in the world problem. If we can have billions of humans, we can have billions and billions of single species of animals.
And it's far beyond, it's far before their natural life expectancy.
We are breeding oysters. We're breeding oysters and we can't breed them fast enough.
And the same thing goes with pork and chicken. These animals are killed when they're very young, almost like children or young adolescents, as far as what their life expectancy would be in the wild. And they spend a majority of their lives standing on concrete in small cages with, the things around their neck, not letting them move. I have had relatives with dairy farms and pig farms, and I remember when I was a child seeing that, and I grew up around that, and my family, not later on in my life, but when I was younger, was more involved in that. I do live in the dairy state, so it's very difficult to get away from the cheese and the butter and the dairy. You'll see celebrities when they come here, it's very typical for them to wear a cheese hat.
Is this Wisconsin? That's so funny. So I just looked it up and it said in 2024, approximately 65,928,220 cows in the U.S. were raised on factory farms. This represents roughly 70.4% of all cows in the U.S. Estimates suggest that 74.9% of cows in the U.S. are raised in factory farms. So somewhere between 70 and 75% are raised on factory farms. And that is a number of 65 million. We're not even talking about a billion cows right now, just 65 million. Just 65 million. Now, you have to think that these are cows that are concentrated in a very, very small, disgusting area. And, okay, so there are different types of mindsets. Some people believe that you should try to consume sustainably. Right now, the U.S. does not consume sustainably. We just overconsume and gorge. And your argument is pretty much talking about sustainability, thoughtfulness, and better structure. And that is fine if all you're talking about is the resources going into what we're doing. What Exploring the Holos is talking about here is that if we had people in cages and planned on bleeding them dry to consume them, there should be some type of outrage. And so if we feel that way about humans, we should have compassion and empathy for other sentient life forms. That is the conversation happening here. And so people need to stop breeding. Are you talking about people need to stop breeding humans, or people need to stop breeding other animals in general? I mean, yeah, animal breeding probably needs to be restructured for sure. The Gnostics believed that humans should stop breeding, and that is a topic that we do talk about often. So I'm not asking you to be funny. I'm genuinely asking you because that is a topic that we do talk about. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate that. I did see that you came in, but there's a lot of conversations going on. I am live on Facebook, Tangled, and YouTube right now. What's up, my mammal? I like to go by energy. Thank you. It's about purposely avoiding causing pain and suffering to other beings. Exactly, Elise. Less people. Oh, wow. Okay. If we move into a future where people can live longer, healthier, be more thoughtful, have more the ability for critical thinking. You know, they've developed their faculty of reason and stuff like that. I do think that the human population does not need to be as large as it is. And I don't think that that means that we have to go back to using like animal labor to get work done. But we're moving into a society where we're going to have things like AI and robotics. So I think that's going to dramatically reshape what the future looks like.
To try and placate all the cheese people in the state. And not only are the cows forced to live in a small concrete and steel enclosure, often they are getting sores and mastitis and infections from being over milked or milked incorrectly, just to, force the production to get as much milk out of them as possible.
I mean, for some people, they talk about factory farming being pretty much a type of sexual assault on animals because you're forcing them to get pregnant, you're taking their children away from them, and then the natural bodily resources that are supposed to be used for your children are literally being sucked out of you and sold as a product. You don't get to live a happy life afterwards. You generally you end up getting your throat slit open and bled out to death. And the worst part of it all is that you can hear it happening down the street, or you watch your friends get on this truck and they never come back, because we know animal psychology, and there are plenty of animals that create friend companions. And I believe cows are one of those specific animals that have lifelong friend companions. So imagine your friend companion, your other cow friend companion, goes away and never comes back. That's pretty depressing. And we also understand the mental state of individuals, of beings, has a dramatic effect on their bodily functions. What do people even realize that they're drinking cow's milk full of depression and insecurity and fear? They're eating meat that is coming from animals that could hear other animals crying and being slaughtered. This sounds so demonic. Like, it, when I look at humanity at large, I see like the US seems like the demon capital of the world. And I don't say that like to be hyperbolic. To me, you literally go around to other countries and blow them up. You create weapons that you know on purpose are going to take the lives of others. You mass breed populations to poison them, to literally disseminate misinformation into them. It seems pretty demonic to me, I'm not going to lie. I'm sorry, I'm reading some of these comments. Right. So, my friend over on Facebook is very well versed in animal handling and taking care of animals. They have many, many years of experience with that. And yet, it's so strange to me because there are people who can, like, treat their dog at home literally like it's their children. Like they love them to death, take pictures of them, write them into their will and stuff like that. But they have no problem eating, a little bit of bacon or some chicken thighs or, tuna, because the emotions that they have for their pets or their children has nothing to do with other animals. They have no compassion or empathy in that other direction. Big facts. Super cute. And so we're going to continue with this.
And as a struggling vegan, especially living in the dairy state, I find it very difficult to avoid having dairy put in my food. It's something you have to watch very closely on ingredients. It's probably the biggest slip up that I have. I found milk or whey in the ingredients of Raisin Bran, potato chips, and even pretzels. I went along eating my favorite potato chips and just happened to glance at the ingredients one time, and I'm like, okay, it says there's milk ingredients in this.
And so this Neogenian life says the worst thing about it is that we can't even really blame it on demons. It's pure evil, disregard for life in general. And that's the part, like, okay, the words that I'm using to describe it, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic, but demons don't exist, okay? And so it's just people. It's literally just people. Demons exist as mental structures inside of your mind. They're not some alien beings living in some other realm that are sending out woo-woo magic and electromagnetic energy to tell you to do horrible things. You are your own demon. And you're absolutely right, this Neogenian life. Thank you for saying it like that so I don't confuse people. Thank you. It just kills me. Let me see. Oh man. And so Exploring the Holos is talking about some of the things that they're struggling with as a vegan when it comes to making their own food and buying products in the store and stuff like that. And so one of the things that I struggle with is the concept of exploiting animals. It stresses me out, honestly, because I don't think that we should be structuring the world with us and them. I think that we should be living in harmony. And so do I think that we shouldn't consume things like honey or other animal byproducts? Like, I can't think of anything off of the top of my head right now, but I feel like this is my feelings. I'm not saying that this is logical or rational. I feel like, for example, they could say something like using horse labor is exploitation. Having pigs dig up truffles is exploitation. Excuse me. I don't think that we should have this mentality that us taming or using animals that naturally have abilities to our benefit should just automatically be exploitation. And like, trust me, I know that there are like militant vegans out there that would like kick my door down and knock my teeth out and all this other stuff just to, you know, prove that we shouldn't exploit animals and stuff like that. Right, and there's like sheepskin condoms and stuff like that. So like what do we do with the animals that die naturally? And people are like, you should just respect their body and stuff like that. And like, I don't think that we should be so obsessed with bodies. And so like, for me, it is a struggle with this concept of exploiting animals. Now, are some animals exploited? Yes, absolutely. Most animals are exploited in the most horrific, horrible ways. But I don't think that we should be in this like human only society where we don't allow bees to pollinate flowers and birds to, you know, carry seeds off and stuff like that. I think that even more so, we should structure our environment with flowers and plants that we know that the birds that are local to us would greatly benefit from sharing their seeds or consuming of their pollen and stuff like that, right? And so like, I have a very tough time structuring my thoughts about how we should integrate animals into our society when there's this conversation about exploitation of animals. And Dabs, thanks for coming to hang out. I appreciate that. Some of the animals used for work are so much safer and carefree and well career for than a lot of people. Well cared for, I meant, right. That's what I thought. And yeah, and so like I think that humans should on purpose be trying to raise the consciousness of animals and allowing them to have tasks and roles in society where they get rewarded, where they're allowed to have a better life and they're allowed to, experience different things. There are VR headsets for cows, I feel like we should start getting into this mindset that they're going to be able to communicate their feelings and their ideas to us in the future, instead of just automatically assuming that we're exploiting them. And like for some people, they might want to live in a world where things were like stay the same forever. I don't want to live in that world. So it's definitely a deep struggle for me trying to figure out like, hey, I don't want humans to be the only ones that benefit from evolution. I expect animals to also benefit from evolution. I think that minds reaching hyper awareness is a part of evolution. And so thinking that our evolution isn't interconnected with the evolution of other species and the treatment of other species on our planet is kind of delusional, but that's just me.
I had to find a different potato chips. Usually the crunchy, like kettle chips or whatever, they have to put some kind of a whey or a milk film on there to make them crunchy, apparently. And even I heard Diet Pepsi is not vegan, and I'm not sure of the ingredient. That's probably some kind of a whey also in that. And I know a lot of people don't like hearing this, but there's a reason why milk is white. And it has nothing to do with its fat content. It's because there's white blood cells in it. And if you can think of other bodily fluids that have white blood cells.
Yeah, milk is full of pus and blood. Milk from cows is full of blood and pus.
You probably don't want that in your food or want to be drinking it. It's just disgusting. It's probably good if you're an infant and you don't have an immune system built up yet and you're getting this from your mother, then it's probably a good thing. But if you're a grown-ass adult and you have an immune system, you probably don't need to be ingesting other white blood cells from another being, especially if it's not your mother. So there's a lot of gross things in milk. When tested, they find usually
Parasites.
pus, blood, excrement, urine in some cases.
Yup.
But in small trace amounts, this is accepted. So
Okay, so my whole thing is, should humans be humans? Yes, humans should be humans. I'm just ready to evolve beyond being human. And I think that that shouldn't be controversial. I think that we as a species at large should know that we are going to become something different. We're going to overcome ourselves. We should be on purpose structuring and building the legacy humans that are going to come after us. And so I do think we're going to speciate. I think that there are going to be some people who want to live in the middle of nowhere on ranches and farms or in the forest and have no electricity or power. That's fine. I think there are going to be some people who want to live in modern day cities for generations and generations. And I guess that's fine to some point as long as it's not creating like pollution or destroying the environment and stuff like that. And I mean, even if it is, maybe that could be a task for the evolved species to tackle. It could be something like, hey, you guys are perfect, so since you have nothing else to do, just clean up like the environment, fight against people's nightmares or something like that. Maybe we'll just be bored. But I want to evolve, guys. I want to move to the next step in our evolution.
there's that. And knowing all of this, I still once in a while will slip up with the cheese and the butter. Um, I'm not a perfect vegan, and I'll get into that too. I mean, people can say that I'm not vegan. Well, that's just fine. I am a person doing the best that I can to minimize suffering, and I'll never go back to where I was. I could never eat beef, chicken, or pork again. Once in a while, I do eat seafood, but that's very, very rarely. And if you can be a perfect vegan, I am very happy with that. I would love to see, um, even if we could get into a trend where a majority of the population is even doing 1 day a week where they don't eat animal products, that would make a huge impact on our environment. It would make a huge impact on these industries, and it would definitely be a huge step in the right direction. So um, that's all I have about the dairy industry and how disgusting it is.
And I think that was awesome. Mind you, this is just one single small sliver aspect of factory farming at large. Just one small sliver. The amount of CO2 going into the air because of cow farts. Do you know that you could look that up? And there are videos on that. The carbon footprint of cow farts. And how people believe that it's going to cause probably irrevocable damage to the atmosphere. So thank you, Exploring the Holos, for this video. We appreciate it. And then Renaissance Fairy has archetypes of universal patterns that we're going to watch. It's only 6 minutes, and I probably won't have to do too much talking. But, no. No. But for everyone who came in later at the beginning of the stream, we did shout outs for several different Neogenian channels and content creators on YouTube. And so if you want to see that, please go back to the beginning and watch that. But let's get this show on the road since we've literally already been streaming for an hour and 22 minutes.
When I hear the word archetype,
Oop, that sounds good. The audio sounds really good.
the first thing that comes to mind is the movies that I watched, books that I have read, stories I have heard, all dealt with archetypes that I could relate to in my subconscious mind. And it's kind of weird to learn about that. They were archetypes and how I could relate to some of these characters that were in these stories. I until I read Carl Jung's work, I didn't realize that. And it's kind of like making the subconscious conscious. And Carl Jung added to that you call it faith. And it's a little weird to realize that this or those stories is an archetype that you could relate to. So, one of my favorite cartoons or movies, anime movies, was Beauty and the Beast. And I always could relate to Belle that she wanted more than this mundane life that she lived. and wanted adventure. And she kind of got that, you know, going to the beast's castle to rescue her father. And, you know, how the story goes, she falls in love with the beast. She didn't like him in the beginning, but slowly but surely fell in love with him and tried to protect him from the villagers that were trying to kill him because they thought he was what they saw from the outside. He was only a beast. And after she fell in love and he fell in love with her, he ended up as this handsome prince. And it's kind of like that with life, too. You know, you look at your life and, you know, you're jotting down in your journal like patterns that you're doing and trying to figure out where can I improve? Where can I set goals? You know, is this the job I really want? You know, do I want to do something different? You know, when I first when I first even considered my job, I thought it was quite a boy's job. I'm in the tool and die business, and for me to actually decide, hey, I'm going to do this, you know, and go through the schooling, you know, ending up getting a job in the field is basically kind of like my own collective unconscious or DNA or whatever you want to call it speaking to me because my uncle was a tool and die maker. My grandfather was a mason, um, meaning building walls and buildings, and it all just came natural to me. And it was like weird. And anytime I saw my uncle, and he goes, "Are you still at that job?" And it's like, and everybody just kept on saying, "Oh, it's a family trait. So why wouldn't she be in it?" You know, like it was basically normal. So, in that, basically, in a sense, was my collective, you know, my unconscious or my family traits coming out of me. But there are those other archetypes, you know, like the shadow, the trickster, the wise old man, the internal mother, and they do talk to you, even in dreams. They want to be heard and communicate with you. And the way you do that is basically, you know, write it down, ask yourself questions, get into like a deep meditation where you're asking yourself a question on what to do. You know, is this behavior normal? Or even what's even unique too is when you look at another person, you're actually reflecting yourself off of them. And it's a great way of just looking at yourself in a different light. Well, I hope you got something out of this. Share, like, and thank you for watching. Stay curious.
Like, share, and subscribe for Renaissance Fairy, and we're going to give this a like. And so I think it's really important, some of the things that Renaissance Fairy was touching on when it comes to this topic, because when she was saying that she had thought that the job that she had in the beginning, she had this kind of like, oh, this is kind of like a boy's job. This is kind of like a man's job mentality, because she was looking at it through the lens of the work that her father and uncles had did. And so later Ren is talking about being able to tap into these different archetypes, that they are not gender associated, they're not gender limited as any type of gender. You can tap into a wide variety of archetypes, and they can have uh, profound effects on your behavior, your ability, your career, your pursuits, and so many other aspects of your life. And so I think that it's really important to reflect on your own thoughts and understand the identity that you believe yourself to be, and to know that those are limitations that can't truly limit you. They are just settings that you have placed upon yourself up until this point in life, and you are completely free to navigate those settings how you choose, which could mean being possessed by them, right? Integrating them, or changing them completely, right? And so I think that for a lot of people, they easily get caught up in identifying as their ego, believing they are exactly who society says that they're supposed to be. And if they don't meet that particular criteria, they either feel like they're a failure, or there's something wrong with them, or that they're just different and can't fit into society and all this other stuff, when really all of this stuff is fake. It's arbitrary. It's not real. It is subjective. Is individualistic, okay? And so I think that, one, we don't have to be so hard on ourselves about who we are and we are structured based off of our experiences and stuff like that, but to also have an open mind to our own ability to change and evolve and to grow and to become whoever we want. And sometimes we'll fail at becoming whoever we want because it's not realistic. Spiral Fox, thanks for coming to hang out. I appreciate that. And so we had a lot of really crazy comments in Tangled and Facebook and YouTube all across the board. And there are some people who are extremely upset and mad at me. And so I'm probably going to get death threats tonight, and Molotovs in my window, and probably a flaming shit at my door, because that is just how society is structured when you say and talk about controversial things. So I do hope that you guys were able to get something out of today's episode. We went and looked at a lot of updates and videos from everyone. Watch history. So we have Renaissance Fairy, Exploring the Holos, of course, Morgue, this Neogenian Oculus. We talked about Jan. Talked about We Are Eternal. I also put up We Are Eternal. I put your video up on Tangled for everyone to watch because, like I said, I felt like it was very intimate and very raw. And I feel like it is a good opportunity for people to come into contact with the process or the feelings that people go through when they leave these types of environments. So Ryan, We Are Eternal says, hey, if there's no fire to light your way, then you can light your own way. And that is very true. You have to illuminate your own inner darkness and your own inner space for sure. So this Neogenian, of course, we have this Neogenian Life. Make sure you go over to them and you watch their new update. Love the haircut, by the way. It looks just super duper cute. It just looks so cute. And then we also have, I talked a little bit about, let me see. Of course, there's Lilith that we'll get to. Talked about Sense of Soul. If anybody's interested, this is their YouTube channel. Please make sure you go over and check them out. They have podcast updates pretty much at least once or twice a week. They're very busy. So make sure you go and support them, subscribe, turn your notification bells on. And then Lilith is also creating videos at sapphire.1331 on YouTube. And so it's really important that we do whatever we can to support each other. Right now, Spiral Fox is in the chat Entangled, and they have actually started to post their novel, which they were, a little nervous about in the beginning, but they have really stepped out. And so if you want to support a Neogenian that is creating art, even though it might be a little controversial or different, here are some shots that you can see of the novel that they're putting up. And so they have been doing awesome putting this out there. Everybody make sure that you go over, and especially if you're on Tangled, make sure you subscribe and follow Spiral Fox. And so this is going to be the end of our stream tonight, because like I said, I'm going to be getting fire bombs and death threats and beat up on by people who are upset about what I've said about animals, because thank you, Mark, for coming to hang out. I appreciate it. Because I was talking about veganism. Neogenian underlined one universe. Okay. I'm not sure what you mean, Spiral Fox. Thank you, Mark, Elise, Ryan, This Neogenian Life, Spiral Fox, Art Prompter, Dakota, Dabs. Let's see. We also had Joanna Laguna, Lilith, Hamza Kazi. Thank you guys all for coming to hang out and chatting with us. I appreciate your time on Tangled. I guess I'll put out some tips for you guys for coming to hang out, so that you guys have some more milliks to spend creating your posts. Spiral Fox, I've actually already sent you a tip yesterday that was pretty gnarly. So just want to make sure that everyone is getting some love and some support. And I hope to see you guys in the future. Don't forget that Morgue is going live in about 45 minutes on YouTube. And so I guess I can put that in the chat as well, so that you guys don't forget. Let me see if they put a video up yet. Notify me. Yes. Share. Copy. Okay. Go over there and turn notification bells on and come hang out with us, so that we can talk about all types of controversial things and have the world hate us. Yeah, the art coming from the community is awesome, right, Mark? And I'm not sure how early or late that you were able to join the stream, but we have more Neogenian streamers like Lilith. I know you've seen Lilith in the chat. This is their YouTube channel, sapphire.1331. This is a podcast that they released an interview with their daughter yesterday or 2 days ago. That was very interesting. I watched the whole thing. It's just that I've clicked on it a few times, so it sent me to the beginning, and I think I was listening to some stuff. But
All right, follow-up interview.
So there's that. Just the last few minutes, I did see that one. Okay, awesome. And yeah, so Spiral Fox, there's just all types of stuff. Got 4 streams out the way today. Yeah, Jonathan Hernandez, I did see that you were streaming a few times earlier. Literally from like 11 o'clock this morning or like 10 o'clock this morning or something like that. I did 2 today. I was able to knock out 2 streams today. So thank you guys for hanging out on Facebook and YouTube, and I will catch you guys later. And then over here,